What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Double B here, back with another video. This is Tuddy Talk Week 17. Before we get into it, just gonna do a quick recap of last week, Week 16. We went 5-4. We made 4.4 units. That brings our current total on the year 12.1 units. So we had a pretty good week last week. We have 2 weeks left, so we're gonna try to have similar weeks to last week. So yeah. Not gonna waste any time. We have quite a few games to get through today, so yeah, I'm just gonna get started here. First game that we have is Miami versus Baltimore. I'm going with Lamar Jackson, anytime touchdown score over at ESPN Bet at plus 155. Miami has allowed five rushing touchdowns to QBs this year, so they are one of the top teams that allow rushing touchdowns QBs. So yeah, he's always a threat to score. He hasn't scored in a while, but I do think Baltimore's going to have to put up a lot of points against Miami. It is in Baltimore, but I still think Miami will be able to put up good amount of points. So I think Baltimore will have to match him. So yeah, I like his chances to score this week. Pretty good value. Next game up is New England versus Buffalo. I'm going with Stephon Diggs, anytime touchdown score at plus 150 over at Caesars. Again, another guy that's really due to score. New England's one weakness is against receivers on defense. So, like I've said, he hasn't scored in over a month. So, I have a few guys in here you'll see that haven't scored in a while. So, at plus 150, that's pretty good for Stephon Diggs. So, I'm going to go with him. Next game up is Atlanta versus Chicago. I'm going with Bijan Robinson, anytime touchdown score at plus 145 over at Caesars. I know he's kind of tough to go with. For me personally, because he's burned me quite a bit this year. But definitely second half of the season, he's definitely played more. He's definitely been used a lot more. Against Chicago, they're really bad against the run. Not really bad, but they do struggle a bit. So, honestly, they struggle against running backs receiving wise. They're good against rushing yards, but receiving backs, they do struggle. I believe they allow the most receiving yards to running backs this year. So, I like the spot here for him, so yeah. Gonna go with next game up is Tennessee versus Houston. I'm gonna go with DeAndre Hopkins, an anytime touchdown score at plus 200 over at FanDuel. With Will Levis coming back, I definitely like the spot here for him. Will Levis, he's been just a touchdown machine when he's at QB here. So I do definitely like him to score. Plus 200 is really good odds. It is against his old team. I know he didn't score the first matchup this year against them, but I like him to see the end zone this time around. Next game up is the Raiders versus the Colts. I'm going with Zamar White, anytime touchdown score at plus 105 over at DK. Josh Jacobs is out again. Excuse me. So the Raiders, he looked really good on the Raiders last week. He had the most rushing yards, I think, all last week at 145, 146 yards. They like giving him the ball, so especially in the red zone, they like using him. So I like the matchup. It's a good matchup here. Colts struggle against the run, so yeah, go with White here. Next game up is the Rams versus the Giants. I'm going to go with Darren Waller, anytime touchdown score over at plus 320 at PointsBet. Just think his odds are a little high. I believe FanDuel even has it plus 310, so you can get him pretty good price pretty much all around the board. Tyrod Taylor's going to be starting this week. He seemed to favor Waller a lot when he was playing. So I do like him to score at those odds. Really good. Rams have they struggle against Titans in the red zone, so like the spot here for Darren Waller. Next game up is the 49ers versus Washington. Gonna go with Deebo Samuel, anytime touchdown score at minus 105 over at Caesars. I like, Debo Samuel. He's been a touchdown machine. He's been on a really good streak. He's been playing really well. Washington is awful against receivers this year. So, yeah, I mean, he's pretty much a good, safe bet to go with. So, I like him. I like the spot here. Next game up, we're going to go with Travis Etienne, anytime touchdown scorer over at Bet Rivers at plus 102. Um, simply put, Carolina, they've allowed over 20 rushing touchdowns to running backs. Um, Jacksonville should be able to score a pretty good amount of points this week, so I think Travis Etienne's going to be heavily involved with that. So, yeah, I like him to score there for sure. Next game up is Arizona versus Philadelphia. Going with AJ Brown anytime touchdown score at plus 120 over at FanDuel. Again, another guy that hasn't scored in over a month, but is definitely due. Has a great matchup to do it this week. They're at home again. He's much better at home scoring wise. Yeah, I definitely like him to score plus 120. You can find the odds higher. That's cool. By the time of this video, this is the highest odds that are out right now at plus 120. Wish they should be a little higher, in my personal opinion, because he hasn't scored in over a month. But hey, I'll still take it. Plus money for AJ Brown, and good matchup for him to score. Next game up is the Saints versus the Buccaneers. Mike Evans, anytime touchdown scorer over at FanDuel at plus 125. This is where, it doesn't make any sense to me. Mike Evans has higher odds than AJ Brown to score, which Mike Evans has been a machine this year, especially in the red zone. Baker Mayfield, that's his. Mike Evans is by far Baker Mayfield's favorite target to throw the ball to. He's a touchdown machine. This is a big game for both teams. This game is probably going to determine who wins the division. So yeah, they're gonna have to. I can see them going to Mike Evans a lot here. This is a big game at home. I think he gets in the end zone for sure this week. Next game up is Pittsburgh versus Seattle. Gonna go with Kenneth Walker, anytime touchdown score at plus 100 over at FanDuel. He's been their guy, especially in the red zone, and they said they tend to run the ball more in the red zone. Seattle does, so yeah, I like the spot here for him against Pittsburgh, who does struggle against the run. So yeah, Walker at plus money, I like it. I'll take it. Next game up, Cincinnati versus Kansas City. Going with Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown score at plus 115 over at FanDuel. Another guy that's overdue. You guys might see plus 115 for Kelce and think it's good. Yeah, we usually get him at minus money, but it should still be higher. Should be around where Diggs is at, plus 150, plus 160. He hasn't scored in over a month, but Cincinnati is the worst team against tight ends. They're at home. If he can't score this week, I don't. Like I said, Chiefs have not looked their normal selves at all this year, but this should be a good game for them to get back on track. At least Travis Kelce, especially with how bad their receiver core has been outside of Rice. Justin Watson's been okay, but Travis Kelce has struggled this year. But this should be a get right game for him. So we'll see. I do like it. It is plus money, so I will take that. So yeah, Travis Kelce. That was our last game, the Chargers versus the Broncos. Going with Gerald Everett at plus 295 at DK. Chargers are really banged up. Simply put, another team that struggles against tight ends quite a bit is Denver Broncos. Gerald Everett, getting almost plus 300, I think, is pretty solid odds. I wish they were at home, but again, it's a great matchup. He's been getting quite a bit of targets, Everett, since Stick has taken over. So yeah, I like the spot here for him. Like I said, love the matchup. With the injuries they're dealing with, they're gonna have, he's one of their pretty much only guys, like their starters that are left besides Eckler. But yeah, like I said, just injuries killed Chargers this year. So yeah, I like the spot for Everett. So other than that, yeah, that's it. This was the last game. Good luck to everyone today. Like I said, like I always say, comment down below if I missed any guys that you think that you like to score. And then yeah, appreciate it if you guys like and subscribe. But other than that, We're out. Peace.